You may begin your presentation.
Days have passed since the last national competition, and Enactus Tanta became unstoppable, achieving more and more success and enabling progress and innovation.
Enactus Tanta proudly represents the 2015 Jump.
During the last NPC, we have had opportunities that were fully exploited, dreams that became realities, and hopes that became standing ground.
From where we are now, it's a journey of 365 days, no reduction and an undeniable day. We are Enactus Tanta. We are
We live in a challenging world, where businesses are threatened to close and leave their workers behind, where youth is struggling to find their next jobs, and where our society's judgments and tastes will forever impact our future.
What if someone had to face all of these challenges alone? Could you survive? Could you?
Nonetheless, Enactus Tanta is here to help.
Absolutely. At Enactus Tanta University, we make sure we stand by those in need, to empower them, to improve their livelihoods, and to support them through mentorship and friendship. We believe that by changing state school, extraordinary results can be achieved.
Facing a world that values all things new and high technology, a society that is overwhelmed by the dominant belief that anything foreign or imported is held in higher regard as local correspondent, not to mention the absence of patronage for the government to have an association for handicrafts, or the domination of the Chinese goods in our local markets, the handicraft industry in Egypt, despite its richness in culture and tradition, strives to survive under the death of distinction.
We believe that the existence of handicrafts is an essential major source of any country's economy. It's but isn't just monetary, it's also political and social. Even though the vast majority of our economy is not built on handicraft exports, still the cultural drive for handicrafts has intense political currency. What a country makes is a part of its fabric, its identity. The most important exports of the biggest countries in the world are almost based on simple handicrafts, making every country out there unique in its own way.
Our team has studied Egypt's ability to become one of these nations, using industries that will differentiate us among all international markets by remarkable quality, simple pricing, and outstanding innovation. During our research, we found several handicraft establishments with promising talents and ability in the handcraft industry. One of them is called Al-Sharaf.
Al-Sharaf is an establishment founded by two Egyptian brothers with the mission of promoting Chinese handicraft in an economically viable way, with an authentic and vivid craft know-how. The establishment is currently responsible for about 160 families who complete the work process of the workshops, most of them being housewives and girls who do all the handmade and assembly work on the chandeliers using beads, crystals, and glass in their homes, and the rest are young men working in the workshops.
However, this is all threatening to end at any moment, for two reasons.
لأن أنا عندي زبون هنا بياخد مني الشغل ده وبيقعد في باريس في المزوق جي، فطبعا هو عرضه في المزوق جي بيجي له الزبون وبيشتري بياخد مني الحته ب 100 جنيه بيبيعها ب 100 يورو، فهنا هو بيزود لنفسه مش ليا أنا. وفي نفس الوقت لو الراجل ده بطل انه يجي يشتغل هنا احنا مش هنلاقي نشتغل. بيطلع من مصر من هنا عليها ميد ان ايجيبت، لكن بيحطها بره عنده بيحط ميد ان بلجيا. يعني هو بلجيكي فبيحط اسم بلده ما بيحطش اسم بلد انا. هقفل خلاص هشوف مهنة ثانية.
First, there's a whole system market for these products in Egypt, and that's because of the lack of resources and knowledge about marketing and business
to even use the traditional marketing cadence.
Second, Al Sharp limits the sole Belgian buyer with their entire inventory at very low prices. The Belgian merchant takes an advantage of the situation and buys the chandeliers with the term that all the products must be labeled as made in Belgium. Then, he transfers the chandeliers from Egypt to Belgium and in turn sells them for his own account at very high prices compared to the cost of goods sold from Al Sharp.
This complete monopolization and lack of direct marketing strategies within the business and a family's income rely on its existence at any moment. That's why we, Enactus Tanta, stepped in.
We started our work on the project by conducting a research on markets of handmade chandeliers in Egypt. We found out people desire the Chinese-made rather than the Egyptian handmade ones because of small differences in prices, ignoring the superiority of high quality and beautiful design the Egyptian chandeliers poses.
As a result, we decided that the first step of our project should be the use of techniques that boost and increase brand awareness. Since the most viral method of marketing nowadays is e-marketing, our team decided to create a Facebook page for Al Sharaf, which represents everything about the workshops, how the chandeliers are being made, the raw materials used in production, and why they are superior compared to the Chinese counterparts.
In addition, we had to craft different designs of chandeliers with the help of Mr. Muhammad Sharaf, the owner of the workshops. Then, presented them on the page with instructions on where different chandeliers were better in our homes and other general decorative recommendations.
Last January, we reached more than 200 followers on our page and received many supportive messages from people all over the region, wondering how such designs of homemade chandeliers are not available on a major scale. They were very interested in the handmade craft and the idea that's produced from 100% recycled materials. We then launched the hashtag called شجع بلدك to promote and support the Made in Egypt products in general, with an example to Al Sharaf products, and more than 100 people participated.
After 2 weeks, we chose 2 young men from Al Sharaf establishment who had good experience with using Facebook. We gave them several sessions about the principles of marketing via social media. Afterwards, we gave them details of how to choose the content of the page, analyzing the insights and the different techniques to increase the page's engagement and reach. Afterwards, we appointed them as admins on the page alongside our team members.
After a lot of people have already known about our online campaign and Al Sharaf chandeliers, we started sticking to another methodical marketing opportunity, that is engaging marketing. We targeted one of the biggest bazaar hubs in Tanta, and in 2 days, we met with over 90 contacts of interested possible buyers, believing in the importance of signage and interactive experiences with the customers on the ground.
Our marketing campaign, online and on the ground, continued for 2 months, until there was a sufficient increase in the demand for Al Sharaf chandeliers in Tanta. And by doing so, we accomplished our first objective, which is creating the need for Al Sharaf chandeliers.
Then, we moved on to our second objective, which is providing actual alternative buyers for Al Sharaf, locally and abroad, buying his products rather than depending solely on the Belgian monopolistic buyer, thus creating sustainability for the project. So, we started reaching out to the galleries' contacts who previously collected on our marketing campaign on the ground. We went to the biggest galleries in Tanta City with real samples from Al Sharaf workshops, demonstrating its features and beauty.
We obtained the blessings of many galleries and agreed with one of them to be our distributor for Al Sharaf chandeliers in our city, Tanta. He asked us to set up a meeting with Mr. Muhammad Sharaf, the owner of the workshops, and was very excited to see other samples, and he even ordered some of them immediately.
We also contacted 2 interior design engineers who are involved in many contracts to decorate new buildings and apartments, offering Al Sharaf chandeliers to be part of the decorating plan.
Mr. Yasser Mati, an interior design engineer, agreed to meet with us after he really liked the samples and how it's exactly like the photos we sent him before. We provided him with a price list of all designs Al Sharaf produces, so that when he needs a specific design, he sends us a message with a photo on WhatsApp and we order it from the workshops immediately.
Another thing he really liked is the idea of customization Al Sharaf provides. The option that he can send us any design he desires and Al Sharaf produces it just like he visualized.
In just 2 weeks, Mr. Yasser's new gallery was beautifully decorated with all different kinds of Al Sharaf chandeliers, starting from the gallery entrance, passing to the stairways, and all the way to his very own personal office.
والله الحقيقة أنا مبسوط جدا إن أنا أشوف كمية نجاح في مصر في الصناعة القوية والجودة والخامة دي وكل ده في مصر. وكان أول ما عرفت الشغل ده عموما كان عن طريق Enactus Tanta. اشترينا مجموعة نجاح امبارح في المنحات آل شرف. وبصراحة لقيتها جميلة جدا التحفة، وفي نفس الوقت برضه ذوق العميل ده هتلاقيها كان بيشكر فيه. والجميل في الموضوع ان لما العميل بيطلب مني مثلا ان انا اعمل له نفذ الاوردر التصميم هو عامل زي ما بتوصل الصوره بشكلها الجميل ده بتوصل نجفه الناس والوسط عامل. واللي اهم الحاجات كلها ان انا قلت ان هو بيشتغل في الرسائل المبادئ، الحاجات اللي هي المواد اللي هي المعدله او العاديه على التصميم.
In our efforts to go international with Al-Sharaf chandeliers, we started emailing several large chandeliers companies from all over the world until our research has led to a website called Etsy. Etsy is an online community with over 20.8 million active buyers and 1.4 million active sellers, where crafters, artists, and makers could buy and sell their handmade and vintage goods.
Most people think of Etsy as a place where you can buy really cool stuff, but Etsy is really a community of extraordinary people, and we're striving to tell stories about the makers and why they do what they do, why they make what they make, and why it matters. And then we have these incredibly talented freelancers all over the world who do pieces for us. This is really our signature or hallmark series. I think it gives us a really global picture of who's making things around the world.
Etsy allows you to open your own online shop with no membership fees. You need a custom list for your items, which are 20 cents per item for 4 months or until it's sold. And once you sell your items, they collect 3.5% fees from your selling price. And by the end of June, we were able to launch an online shop for Al-Sharaf establishment, listing all Al-Sharaf's products and labeling them made in Egypt by Al-Sharaf's workshops.
Never have we imagined our work to come this far, but it went even further. Considering the increasing demand for Al-Sharaf chandeliers in our city, Tanta, we decided to take a further step into our project by agreeing with Mr. Muhammad Sharaf, the owner of workshops, to consider extending his production facility to Tanta as well. And as a start, we took the first step towards achieving that goal by empowering the unemployed women in our community.
We conducted a survey in charities and poor villages near Tanta, searching for girls and housewives who don't have a stable income to rely on, and offering them an opportunity to travel to Al-Sharaf workshops to learn how the chandeliers are being produced and assembled, so that after they return, they could work on assembling the chandeliers in Tanta.
A total of 5 women agreed to participate into our project on the basis of doing the work at their homes, thus enabling them to have a wide span of hours to handle the chandeliers work and complete the work assigned to them.
On the 10th and 11th of June, we accompanied the 5 women to Al-Sharaf's workshops for a 5-hour session every day, in which Mr. Muhammad Sharaf, the owner of the establishment, walked the women through the process of assembling the chandelier chassis using beads, glass, and crystals.
In turn, the 5 women will teach other 10 when they get back to Tanta, completing our first step to open a workshop in our city. And our future plans for this project is completing the remaining procedures.
Hey Susan, don't you think we said enough about the marketing and business already?
What are you doing? We're in the middle of a presentation right now. But you know what? You're right. Let's stop talking about business. And now, let's show you how our works have impacted our community this year.
Empowerment of women in workforce means allowing them to have more control over their life. It means giving them the freedom to make their own schedules, learn new skills, and gain self-reliance. This is exactly the kind of guided empowerment created on the 5 works in Tanta, by teaching them craft in which they can earn a living from, and therefore improving their livelihoods. However, the empowerment didn't just reach those 5 goals, as they in return empowered other girls by teaching them the craft, increasing both Al-Sharaf's profit and their own.
Their effect was direct, as we mentioned earlier, and those who taught the craft, and indirect on the 160 women in the organization who struggled to maintain a fixed income. Thus, by increasing the demand and the marketing for Al-Sharaf chandeliers within Egypt, led to maintain the job and increase their income. And in 2 months' time, we increased Al-Sharaf's profit by 7,000 Egyptian pounds.
Apart from the women, the men who work on making the iron chassis for chandeliers were threatened by unemployment. However, increasing the demand on the products allowed them to keep their jobs, as well as employing other workers to achieve sufficient demand.
In a more broad approach, we believe that the empowerment extends to reach the Egyptian economy as well, as it celebrates the Egyptian handmade product and exporting it abroad. In this way, we make sure this celebration sustains.
Through our comprehensive marketing strategy, locally and globally, we were able to guarantee sustainability for Ashraf's establishment. Apart from the Belgian marketplace bar, Etsy is an example of a sustainable global marketing, as it proved its efficiency as the most powerful e-stores. Thus, it can be relied on, unlike the Belgian merchant, who can stop imports from the organization any moment, thus threatening its closure.
To shape any number in the possible future, they must be imagined in advance and understand how they might work. Forecasts, scenarios, and plans are ways of representing and assessing ideas about the future. Ladies and gentlemen, our future plans for this project are threefold.
First, having exhibits in all the governments of Egypt. As we already influenced Al-Gharbiya province by increasing its demand, we plan to extend this influence to each other region within Egypt to increase profitability and hopefully making Al-Sharaf's brand the biggest in Egypt and the Middle East.
Second, and in realization with empowerment, we thought have 5 graduate students in each province and giving them the management of chandeliers exhibits.
And finally, hold an exhibit that includes not only the chandeliers, but also the entire handicraft, in an attempt to save the industry from the threat of extinction and do it justice, and also to increase employment for those who work in the industry and their standard of living.
Sometimes a simple explanation is purely itself and